Hello and welcome back to the CWC Edge podcast. A genuine thank you. When I first launched this podcast, I'll be honest with you, I was nervous. I was proper nervous. I didn't know if anyone would listen. I didn't know if the content would land properly. And I half expected to just be sitting here talking into a microphone with my dog Marley as the only listener. But here we are. People are not only listening, they're engaging, they're giving feedback, and even reaching out with ideas. And that, to be honest, has totally blown me away. One of the things I've always said, whether in business, whether coaching, or in the military, is that the smartest of leaders don't have all the answers. They take advice, they listen. And this podcast has been a reminder of that for me, in all honesty. The best thing about doing this has been hearing from you, my small amount of listeners that I have already, about what resonates with you, about what inspires you, and even what you'd like to hear more of. Sometimes the best leadership move is just to shut up and listen. And I've been doing that, from Instagram messages to chats on the football pitch with parents and other coaches, to emails, to comments. It's bombarded me and it's been really, really overwhelming. It's been really good. Thank you. Your voices have shaped where this podcast is heading, and I can't thank you enough for that. Because at the end of the day, CWC Edge, it's not about me. It's about creating value for you. Now, I want to give a couple of special shout-outs, and I can't shout out everyone, but I've picked two who I want to talk about. And first up is John Johnson. John and I crossed paths in a place you might not even expect. Grassroots football. Yeah, in the middle of it's not icy, but in the middle of a really, really cold 3G pitch in a place called Eccleshall, where you quickly learn as much about patience and leadership as you do about football. But John's insight and encouragement really hit home with me. He sent me a voice message just today, and he's someone I'm thrilled to say will be joining me, hopefully on the podcast very, very soon. We'll get into his leadership style and his business journey, and trust me, that's one you don't want to miss. The conversation should be really good. And then there's Abby Jones. Abby reached out on Instagram to me after listening to the podcast. I think I've only friended Abby probably in the last couple of weeks, and honestly, her message gave me such a boost. I knew her when she was in the military, such a steadfast young lady, really solid, really dependable. You could rely on her. She's not only been engaging with the content, but she's also challenging me too. She's the reason I've started to look more deeply into topics like imposter syndrome. And I'll tell you what, that one's coming real soon. So if you've ever doubted yourself, felt like a fraud despite the evidence to say you're not, you'll want to tune in for that one. Abby Jones, if you're listening, thank you very much. You've spurred me on and given me a nudge when I needed it. And just to run off, I engaged with Abby again and says, look, I want to do a thank you. I want to mention you. I want to mention some of the content and to promote you. And I just want to read her response because it was mega. So her response from Abby Jones goes, thanks, that's great. I hope you know there's no obligation. Now, I don't know if she's on about royalties or something. So this is direct from her heart. My passion is bringing the gap between people and nature through therapeutic gardening and horticulture. It's helped me to transition out of the military into civilian life when I was full of angst and uncertain about what was next. Getting outside offers so much mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. You don't have to get dirty either to feel the benefits. Simply taking steps into an outdoor space and connecting with your senses, what you can see, what you can smell, what you can hear, it brings people back to the present moment, which is so important in promoting healthy well-being, especially with our distracted modern world. I feel it's my purpose to reconnect people. Please take whatever you want from that. If it gets one person outside and notices something they wouldn't usually, she will be over the moon. I will put her link to her business and obviously to her on Instagram if she wants to be followed in the podcast notes. But I thought that was really, really nice for her to engage back, to take the time to write that reply, and obviously get that information to me so I could send it out to you. And again, she wants no obligation. She just wants people to go out and connect with the outside. It's not hard, people. So here's the exciting bit. When I started this podcast, I thought it would just be me. Solo episodes, sharing experiences and lessons that I've learned throughout my life. But now I am thrilled to say that several people have put their hands up and said, "Hey, Chris, I want to come on and share my story. I've had a really successful story in transition from the military or the emergency services." Or, "Hey, Chris, I've had a real bad story. I've had knockback after knockback. I don't mind coming on, sharing that if it helps out with your podcast. So thanks, brother." And that's huge, because leadership and business, it's not just about theory. They're about journeys. They're about real people, real challenges, real wins and losses along the way. So you're going to hear from CEOs, you're going to hear from business owners, you're going to hear from members of the council, maybe even folks from my grassroots community. But each guest will bring their own perspective, their own lessons. And that excites me, because hopefully it will excite you. And because I know that while I can share my experiences, there's nothing quite like learning from a variety of voices. And that's how we all grow. Taking bits from individuals, learning from individuals and moving forward and moulding your own path. And on that note, let's talk about growth. If there's one thing I want to hammer home today in this episode, it's this: personal and professional development isn't optional. Not if you want to get better, not if you want to gain the edge. It's a choice we all make daily. Are you reading? Are you listening? Are you watching inspiring people and learning from them? Or are you standing still? Now, I know, believe me, with 3 children and an overactive hyper 3-year-old Labrador, I know life is busy. We've all got a million things going on. There's not one evening in my week that I am free. I have got at least an activity with one of my children. But I truly believe that even 10 minutes a day, listening to a podcast such as this, reading a chapter of a book, watching a TED Talk, even on YouTube, it all adds up. It's those small, consistent doses of growth that builds resilience. It builds creativity, and it builds those leadership skills. So if you take anything away from today, go and learn from someone new this week. Stretch yourself. That's how you're going to gain the edge. Look, I'm going to be completely honest. When I hit publish on the first podcast, I genuinely thought, is anyone going to listen? Is this just going to be to float out into the ether somewhere? And even now, I get nervous, but I'm not ashamed to admit it. What keeps me going are, to be honest, the minimal amount of comments that I had, the shares that I've had, the fact that this podcast has now been listened to in 4 different countries across 3 continents, the little notes of encouragement I get left on my website. You've proven that there's value here, and there might be a motion for a movement. Who knows? And that means absolutely everything to me, because CWC Edge is about giving back. The monetary value on it is priceless. I want to try and make a difference to people. I want to bring out what I've learnt in my 43 years of life, 23 of them being in the military and 4 to 5 years being in business. And that means the world to me. So here's my ask and my promise this week. My ask is, keep talking to me. Keep telling me what you want to hear. What resonates with you? What would you like to get into deeper? What challenges are you facing? And my promise is, I'll keep listening. I'll keep researching, and I'll make sure the content I share is grounded, it's relevant, and it's practical. And I'll continue to provide a space for people to not only listen to this podcast, but to read more and to get in touch through my blog at cwcedge.com. and obviously all the other literature that goes along with that website. This podcast is only just getting started, and I'm already starting, 5th, 6th episode in with a thank you. And with your help, it's going to grow into something that not only inspires, but equips people to take real action in their lives, their work, and their communities. I am not one of these one-hit wonder little businessmen who's made hundreds of thousands of pounds overnight. I am a tried and tested leader. I have a business management degree. I have experience of being a senior leader in the British military. I have experience of deploying in hardships and leading teams through adversity. So thank you again. Thank you for listening. Thank you for engaging and nudging me forward. Big up to John Johnson and Abby Jones for this episode, for being part of this journey so far. And thank you for giving me the courage to keep hitting record, because it's not easy, for keep sharing and keep building CWC Edge. Until next time, listen, stay curious, keep developing, keep your edge. Thanks for joining me on this episode of CWC Edge podcast. I hope today's conversation gave you something valuable to take away and put into action. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. You can also connect with me directly at cwcedge.com, where I share more insights, tools, and resources. And if you're a podcaster, a leader, a manager, CEO, or professional on a similar journey, I'd love to collaborate. Let's grow together. Until next time, keep pushing forward, keep learning, and remember, growth happens at the edge.